Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. We got just one ring, let we rule them all. Hope people remember your towel. Get your Ulu feathers and your needler guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword +1. Usually wins till it will get you to come. To the Geek Tank. To the Geek Tank. The Rocky Mountain Geek Tank.
Hi, I'm Guy,
Hi, I'm Alex.
and this is Geek Tank. I don't know. We're just short on. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay,
You're cool.
Guy. Well, Guy, you right now you are the not high resolution, on delay, audio cutting out member of the podcast.
Yeah, that is true. It says that my connection is unstable. It says that if I'm on Wi-Fi, I should try plugging it in. I am actually plugged in directly to the modem. Directly plugged in. Directly. Okay, fine.
Well, no, now you seem synced, at least.
It's because I think I was asking too much of my poor PC. Am I better now?
You're closer to being synced up, but your resolution is still lower than usual.
Hang on. I will kill more things. So, my copy of The Lord of the Rings is very low. The volume's very low. And it is a rip off of my DVDs. So they are my DVDs, but I'm not taking the DVDs with me to Japan. So somehow the audio ended up really, really ridiculously low. So I'm running the DVDs back through Premiere, and I found a subtitle file for it. And I was like, oh, that's useful. Since we're going to be on an airplane watching this, I figure maybe turning on the subtitles might be useful. So I put the subtitle file in, but I haven't started rendering it yet. But Premiere is sitting there poised to hit the button. And once it does, it will make a new version of this with the subtitles and slightly louder audio.
Right.
Because otherwise...
you're...
That was me being
okay.
goofy.
I was going to say that, so is that what's taking up your system resources?
I think so. But although now I've closed everything and it shouldn't be, it's not doing the job at the moment. It's just waiting to do the job.
Yeah, but it still could be,
I'm not sure. No, it still says that it's saying that the connection's unstable.
Okay.
That's what it's saying.
Well then, yeah.
I've not seen Rings of Power yet, Joan. I will. So the real reason that we're doing this is I'm about to get on a 12-hour flight to Tokyo. And what better way to spend it than 10 hours of it spent watching Lord of the Rings? So we're going to hook up my kiddos. My kiddo has never seen Lord of the Rings. And so this is going to be a first for her. Hasn't really had the full ability to sit still and watch The Lord of the Rings, but has had an interest, just good old ADD not making it easy. So anyway, is it still lousy?
Your resolution is still not great. Like I said, your sync seems to be better. Yeah, Lord of the Rings. I tried to show my kid a Lord of the Rings, and we watched the first half of Fellowship, and they were uninterested with pursuing it further at this time.
I see.
And
mine's a little older than yours, so we'll have to see. We'll see if that goes better. And trapped on an airplane. I mean,
Right.
we're not going anywhere. So that, faced with nothing better to do,
Yep. So yeah, right now I'm part of me was hoping that you and Troy would get off on some tangent that I could then like do some online shopping.
Oh yeah, what are you online
Yep.
shopping for?
Yeah. Some new
You're like,
dancing
nope,
shoes.
I'm not gonna say it broadcasting.
Some new dancing shoes and some stuff for holiday presents. But yeah, but no, then it's
Which is
like,
funny. You raised an eyebrow, and I was like, what did I just say in subtext? Because of course I meant it literally, like you're doing holiday shopping, and you're gonna sit there and go, I am getting Lauren this for Christmas, and I am getting, and I'm like, so you won't say it. Obviously, that was what went through my brain. So then you raised an eyebrow, and I was like, crap, what did I just say in subtext?
yeah. So
I
I mean,
spend my life doing that.
Yep. Yeah, been
Good.
there was an old like web-based Flash probably MMO named The Kingdom of Loathing, and I think it's still going on. I think you can still find it, and they actually put out a couple video games on consoles. They did a Western game named West of Loathing, and then a new one has come out that I've started playing a little bit of, and it's named Shadows over Loathing. And so Kingdom of Loathing itself did a bunch of like tropey comedy fantasy stuff, and then West of Loathing was like a Western take, and Shadows over Loathing is Lovecraftian.
Right.
So yeah, so it's all right. And I got it through GameFly, so I'll probably return it here pretty soon. I might have to spend some real time with it though, a couple hours, just to see how it sinks in, and then playing the God of War Ragnarok. It's good stuff. Nice to see Kratos has developed more as a person, even in the interim years between God of War 2018 and the God of War Ragnarok, which is cool. And then yeah, I'm looking up some stuff here. I did I will return to some of my present purchasing, as I believe my child is just outside the door and is changing,
That was
scooping the kitty litter. So
that was actually what I meant earlier whenever I said it.
Yeah, so let's see. What kind of stuff have you been up to, Guy?
Oddly, just recently, game-wise, oddly just got into Second Life because of class. Like they were required that we make Second Life characters and get into Second Life. And I was kind of humored that I was watching, because I was playing Second Life today, and it's not horrible, but it clearly has limitations of its, whatever 2009 beginnings.
Oh yeah,
2006 beginnings, or whenever Second Life gave birth to itself. So I mean, like, whatever's the story, yeah, that was. But yeah, it was that was an interesting thing today. Playing a little bit of Second Life for the class. I think it was very interesting because the class mission, it was for my Japanese class, and we were in a Japanese built world in Second Life, complete with all the signs in Japanese and everything like that. And the mission was that the teacher gave us instructions to go to a place, find a thing, and come back. That was the mission. And all of it was in Japanese. And I thought that was kind of clever. I mean, it was like a good use of modern technology. I was kind of impressed. I was like, I mean, Second Life. But of course, I understood why. One of the reasons why she did it was A, you can build your own world. B, her husband is a teacher too, and I think he is also a Japanese teacher, even though he's American. And because he seemed to have his own students running through that world a little bit. And of course, since it's a protected universe, nobody changes anything. You don't have to worry about getting, whatever shot or whatever, and whatever it would be that, So definitely interesting. I am looking at my internet and I've got 4 down and 1 up
Wow.
kilobits. So
Wow.
clearly we have some lousy.
It's amazing that we can hear you and see you at all.
I know, right? I'm like, and it's coming from, because I've got an app that can talk directly to my router. So my app is reporting back that everything's okay, but just telling you that things kind of suck as far as transmission speed.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, God of War is a really good game. I played the original PS2 and then part of the PS3 one, and then I also played a couple of the PSP kind of prequel games, which I lost interest in them pretty quickly. They seem to be like, let's explain all this stuff about Kratos that doesn't really matter. Wasn't that big into them. But then I actually stopped playing God of War 3 because of the scene where you kill Helios. Because the scene becomes, as you're fighting him, it actually goes to his perspective, and it was quite disturbing. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of sick of playing this guy who externalizes his self-loathing and rage, and feels he has to kill everything around him, because it'd be. I mean, I know they don't really have therapy back then, but it's like, man, can you have an epiphany about this and do something else? But then I did hear really good things about 2018 version, and I really did like it, and I like that the arc of the story of Kratos going from mostly absentee father to actually connecting with his child and such over the course of the adventure they have together. So yeah, very cool. And then Ragnarok is it is kind of annoying that it's like it takes us something like 2 or 3 years after the God of War new game, and then it's like all the gear and all the stuff that I had gotten and almost all the skills of all like gone. It's like, come on, you know. And it's like, especially since it's like Kratos is always talking about how he's always training, and I mean, I can understand how he doesn't want the Norse gods to come after him and thinks he won't have to fight them, but come on, Kratos, you know better than that. So at least with the equipment, they're like, oh, Fimbulwinter destroyed it all over the years that we've been in it. It's terrible. Super, super sorry. The new stuff you'll get won't wear out so fast. You'll be fine.
Right.
So, but no, it's very cool. And now that I'm pretty sure my daughter's left. So I've gotten her. I've already gotten her first couple books of a comic series named Princeless. And the first book is or the story is about. It starts off as the main character is this princess who is portrayed as a person of color, which is cool. And she has many siblings, and when she hits a certain age, she is forced into a situation where she is locked up in a tower with a dragon guarding her, and whatever knight or prince or whoever comes by to save her and defeats the dragon and gets her out of the tower can marry her. And instead she practices fighting, watches the dragon kill prospective suitor after suitor, and eventually makes friends with said dragon and goes off on an adventure to try to rescue her siblings. And so I did manage to get most of there's like 9 books total, I think, and I got most of the other books from Mile High Comics, the Mile High Comics Superstore here in Denver. And unfortunately, they did not have books 6 and 7, so I'm looking online for those now. And
That's fair.
Yeah, and I do
That's it.
I do try to purchase local, keep the money, in the area, but I didn't have it,
Mhm.
and I don't really
Sometimes
have
you
a
can't.
comic book store anymore. So I'm just sort of like, well,
Yeah, they've all closed. It's kind of sad.
yeah, yeah. There's a friend of mine goes to I Want More Comics, a little bit north of us, and there's
Up
some
in
other
Northland.
smaller comic shops too. But it's also kind of like, don't know if I want to go up there. I guess I can see what they have if they have an online inventory. But yeah,
Yeah, a buddy of
check
mine
it out right
works
now.
there. So
Oh, cool. Yeah, there is also
I think
yeah. There's another series I wanted to get her into, which is we actually read a bunch of them from the library, and it was a trade paperback series that came out like in the 90s about it's another take on Greek mythology named the Olympians. That was really cool. Had some really interesting takes stuff that there were interpretations. One thing I didn't know that was mentioned in it was like Poseidon the Earth Shaker was originally like a horse god until like the people that worshipped the Earth Shaker uh, saw like their first like tidal wave and like whoa, that's really shaking the
right.
earth. Yeah, I don't know about all the comic book stores closing, but the one that was nearest to me
Definitely the
did
ones in our
close.
area.
And there's I think the one up at 80th and 88th and Sheridan is still there. That's a pretty small shop if I remember well.
Yeah, it is.
And then yeah, so yeah, it's hard to make a living. It's hard to have a business. So
Yeah, yeah, you're right. The one at 88th and Sheridan is still. Last time I looked, it was still there.
hmm
But yeah, that's. But I mean, yeah, it's difficult. Well, and the
yeah,
one at 88th and Sheridan seems to have more figurines and things like that. Like half the store is devoted towards Transformers and figurines. Would absolutely, since as someone who collects Transformers, certainly not going to complain. But when you say comic book store, and I'm like, there isn't a comic book store up at 88th and Sheridan. Oh, that's right. That's the place that I usually go to get Transformers. So,
hmm
because that's the thing. So, but
yeah,
definitely
cool.
still
Yeah,
there.
and so I'll probably see if I can. Like I did already look at Mile High Comics for the Olympians, and the only one they had was like the hardcover edition of book one. It's like $50. I'm like, you know, my kid does not take good care of their books and stuff. There's lots of gaming
Yeah,
stores in
FNM
the area.
FNM does happen here, but the thing is the gaming stores that are big on that tend to be on the south side of town. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a long ways away from Alex and I, because we're
Yeah, I
both on the
mean,
north side of town.
there's a shop named Game Heroes that was across the street from Arvada High School, and they've moved, but they're like, I want to say they're still on this side of town. They're like at 88th or something. Not off of
Okay,
Wads anymore, but like I
right.
think they're. I mean, but they're still kind of up there. Um, and they do F and M's and stuff. But yeah, then it's like Elysium is over on Alameda and Kipling-ish. Um,
Hmm.
and then which some of our guests, have talked about that they go there to play as well. And then of course there's farther
Yeah,
south. Yeah,
we got
and
the
like we
Enchanting
did have a
Grounds.
great store named the Adventurers Quarter, but they wound up closing even before COVID.
Yeah,
The guy who was running it was he was a really cool guy, and
I
but
really
he
liked
had
it.
yeah, Jacob, I think his name was, and he wound up
Hmm.
he closed their shop just he couldn't make it profitable, and like it was one of those things where people would like go to his shop and like buy a candy bar or even if that and then talk about how they got like this new board game they're going to play in his shop all online for like super cheap, but it's like asshole. It's like I understand he charges more,
Yeah, we
but it's
went there
because
and
yeah,
We
I
went
did
there a couple of
plenty of
times.
stuff there. Yeah, I did
Yeah,
lots of
and there
pre-releases
is Do
there.
Gooder Games,
Barney's.
which is up near Thornton, or up in Thornton.
Mm-hmm.
And Do Gooder Games is relatively new and pretty much sponsored by a lot of our sponsors, which is a thing. Like, as in the usually we can find Nate from Geekway Homes up there, and Dustin's typically up there as well, who's been on our show a couple of times. And they do a lot of their Savage Worlds stuff up there. And that's probably the closest direct connection to Geek Tank that we've got. They've got a podcast room, and they've been kind of saying if we ever want a podcast from there, we are more than welcome to do so. And I have thought about it a couple of times, and the only reason we don't is that we kind of like this. We, walk 5 feet to the studio, so to speak, and then get on the show, and then walk 5 feet from the studio to our beds or whatever, after this is over. So there's a certain amount of plus to that.
Cool.
Man, I'm just not getting any better on the transmission.
Yeah.
I'm not translating over to the other side, I guess, guys.
Oh, one thing also is that when it comes, like, to go back to God of War a little bit, that I did ask my kiddo if she wanted like if she were, because I know she likes Norse mythology and she likes Greek mythology, and I was like, so do you want me to play the original main games, God of War 1, 2, and 3? Because I've beaten the first two a few times, and the third one I'm sure I can beat it as well. And she said yes, but after I beat Ragnarok. And there's some actual post-game content for Ragnarok where you go to quote unquote Valhalla, and there's a lot of stuff that calls back to the original God of War games and how Kratos was back then and the things he did and stuff like that. So I think that might be a nice it'll be kind of an adjustment, I think, going from Ragnarok to God of War 1, 2, and 3, and then back to Ragnarok control scheme. But it should be because the control schemes are quite different. But it shouldn't be too difficult.
Right. That sounds cool.
Yeah. Die a few times, get my legs back under me, be fine.
Right.
And but yeah, no, I was kind of looking forward to that. So
yeah, I keep wanting to get back into games, and I just don't have the time. Just so many things going on.
Right.
Run rapidly out of spoons.
Right. Cool.
So, but it's all right. We'll get there. Definitely running out of spoons, though. So, yeah, I mean, it's let's see. I mean, the other things that are happening is that school's going great, and I'm coming up with all these cool theories and stuff.
Sorry.
I think that's kind of fun. So, always cool. In that instance there.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I have been watching the
new Ranma.
Well, yeah, watching the new Ranma, loving it. If I apparently will always have a thing for Kuno Kodachi. So there's that.
It is
also
thing.
Like
it is real.
Yeah, it's real. But then it's like been watching the original Deadpool commentary. Like I got the Blu-ray for like $7 somewhere, or probably from Black and Red, and been watching the extras and watching like putting on the I watched the deleted scenes and such, and then like there's two commentaries. There's one from Ryan Reynolds and two of the writers, and there's one from the director and Rob Liefeld, the man who
What?
ostensibly created Deadpool, who really only just
With
did
small
like
fingers
character
or
stuff.
small feet and small
Yeah,
hands.
yeah, and he's so far he's not being a total douche nozzle on the commentary, which is nice. You know, he seems to be
That's
genuinely excited and happy for them.
somewhat of a surprise.
Yeah, he's got a bad rep. I don't know how warranted it is.
He does have a bad rep.
But then, yeah, Ramo Half is super nostalgic. I really like the new series. I'm really enjoying. Actually, the thing that I enjoy the most about it is, besides the better animation, is the sound design. I really like. They put a lot of
Oh my
thought
God!
into.
Did you catch the last episode?
Of course.
The music that they were playing. I'm like, oh my God. Crack me up. That was so freaking funny.
Yeah. Like I said, of
So,
course. So yeah,
yeah, I mean it was without a doubt supposed to be fight music from like Soul Calibur-esque, Street Fighter-esque eskiness.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved it. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys did this. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah, super good. Super good.
Super awesome.
Yeah, and I know that Deadpool and Wolverine are on Disney Plus now. I haven't watched it again yet. One thing I've discovered, though, and I was kind of looking at it and looking at a couple other titles, is that Disney Plus apparently has a higher level of membership, which I already knew that they like when a movie's brand new, they would all like they did. I know they experimented a little bit with like, oh, well, now you can watch this new movie in the theater for extra money now and stuff like that. I don't know if they're still doing that. They probably will with some titles, but not with others. I'm sure when it came to something as large, high grossing as like Deadpool and Wolverine, they weren't going to do that. They're going to try to get as many people in the theater as possible. But they've got a thing now where they have perks, and they're like, get an upgraded membership, give us more money per month and get access to perks. But what I've found is that I'm sure I could find it online if I really wanted to. They don't tell you what those perks are.
I was going to say, is this like Patreon all of a sudden?
I'm guessing that my guess, not even educated, but just my guess is that it's going to be extras that you would find on the disc version, making ofs and stuff, because they have done that with other movies. Like we watched Cruella, and they had a bunch of the making of vignettes on Disney Plus as well that we wound up watching too. But I'm guessing it's going to be things like making ofs and interviews, and I'm hoping commentaries for those that want them.
That want commentary, yeah.
Yeah. So that's my guess.
Could be interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna knock that. That sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Now, you know what else is really cool though? Yeah. That Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, The Massage Wizard, and your mom.
Yeah, I really did enjoy Deadpool and Wolverine in the theater. We saw my good friend, my best friend, and I took our children to go watch it in the theater opening weekend. And our kids are, in the, I think his kid is like 9-ish, mine's 11. And I have no problem showing my kiddo that stuff, mostly because it's just a live action cartoon. And I told her that. I'm like, I know there's some things that we don't want you to watch, but yeah, this is just a live action cartoon with swearing. And you're the daughter of a sailor's son. You've heard pretty much everything they're going to say.
There is nothing new under the sun for you.
And but no, we really enjoyed it. Then I took my family out to see it probably a month later or so. And in this scene, I think I might have mentioned this before, in the scene where there is a scene where Wolverine's shirt literally explodes off of him, showing his personal trainer, dehydrated, workout, oily tits and abs. And in that scene, my wife literally is in the theater clapping. It's really great.
That was awesome.
Yeah, no, I really liked it in the theater. It is the honest trailer is pretty much spot on about it. In case you haven't watched that, I watched the honest trailer. I'm like, oh yeah, this is good stuff. So yeah, enjoyed.
Well, that's good. I mean, yeah, I haven't seen it yet. So yeah, the problem I have with Deadpool and Wolverine is that it has the dubious distinction of having been released during the time when I wasn't able to watch things because my kid was right there all the time. Now my kid's old enough by far to see it, but I haven't seen Deadpool 1 because I couldn't at the time. I have all of them on my hard drive, no less, because they were a rip from the DVDs. And it's like, okay, but I still haven't seen them. I still haven't seen them.
Right? Yeah, they're all on Disney Plus as well. In case you're worried about those rips having weird audio and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I've got Disney Plus, so
yeah,
not an issue by any stretch. Just still kind of it's weird that has been sort of the thing, you know.
It's funny. Yeah, just this last summer, I decided that in wanting to dress up as Logan and Laura from Logan with my kiddo, instead of trying to make her read, let's just call it gratuitous amounts of X-Men comics, we went with the shorter route of viewing all the X-Men films in release date order. And because I was like, I really want to show you this movie, which I own on Blu-ray, and it's amazing, and I want to do a costume with you from this movie, but you need context. Let's watch all these movies. And some are definitely better than others. But we did watch them all, including, before we got to Logan, Deadpool. So, and then of course that's a little bit of a mood whiplash right there.
Yeah, it is.
Not that we watched them like the same day or anything, but it's still like
yikes. Sort of moment. Yeah.
But it was really funny when they reveal Laura's powers and she gets her kill, she goes on her rampage after like minute 30 or whatever. My kiddo looks at me and she goes, "Dad, do they get cool costumes in this movie?" I said, "I'm sorry, kiddo. It's not that kind of movie."
No.
So
good.
But no, we hit up some department stores, hit up some thrift stores to get pieces for our costumes, and had a great time at Mile High Con. Got first place.
And you guys kicked butt.
Got best in show in the costume contest.
You just saying.
I was just happy that I was just really happy that they did that when we got into that we entered the costume contest, we were the 10th contestants, so we were Weapon X. So
right.
Also, yeah, some of those movies are just not like, the Dark Phoenix stuff was okay. Like
yeah, Jean Grey has always been sort of one of those characters that I like, and so it's like X-33. I like these characters, so I get really worried when they mess them up.
Yeah, so, like the thing that I actually thought was really weird about the newer ones, right? Because you have the Days of Future Past, the timeline diverges, and now you've got like all bets are off. What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. And it's really weird to me that everyone keeps on treating Magneto like he is a stone cold mutant supremacist killer. And as portrayed in the films, not to say that I'm so bad with names, but the actor that they have playing Magneto, not Ian McKellen Magneto, does a great job of playing him. And they're all like, we're going to do this thing. And it's like, oh, don't kill those guys. It's like, well, no. Like the people Magneto does kill are fucking Nazis.
Straight up. I mean, like,
Yeah.
they're not even messing with this.
Yeah, like they're fucking Nazis. So yeah, let Magneto kill some Nazis here, okay?
Yeah,
I
we're
mean,
okay with
it's
that
almost
part.
like it's integral to his journey to murder fucking Nazis. But then, and that's also one of the more interesting things about Magneto as portrayed, is that yeah, he's fucking killed a bunch of Nazis, but now he's a mutant supremacist. What? Okay, da da da. But in the new movies, he kills some Nazis, and he does some
The
stuff.
striped pajamas and everything.
Yeah, he kills some Nazis. He does some stuff, and then it's like everyone's like, "Don't kill the Magneto." It's like Magneto's not killing anybody. Like, he lifted up a stadium and used it to like cut off access to and from like this White House lawn press conference. I'm like, who cares? I mean, lots of property damage stuff, but it's definitely not crossing the moral event horizon of, is this guy a good guy or is he a hero, an anti-hero, a villain? Where does he slide on the scale? No, it's like, come on. That really bugged me. Like, or like, of course they have to do like the standard stock thing of, oh no, Magneto's wife and kid got killed on accident, whatever. And then he goes to like one of you motherfuckers ratted me out, and now you're all gonna fucking pay for it. And then Apocalypse comes out and is like, kills them all himself. It's like, yes,
There are
Apocalypse
times where
is
it's
a
like,
bad guy.
I don't know if we've taken a hit here or not. I mean, like, I'm like, come on, people. This is normal. I don't know. There are times where I'm like, they've cut something out because it's one of those things where, and I guess I don't know if I'm particularly sensitive to this or what, but it seems like every so often there'll be a movie and I'm like, did anybody else not understand this part? And everyone's like, no, we all got it. I'm like, okay. Because I feel like I didn't, I feel like I didn't understand this part. I didn't get it. I feel like somewhere along the line they get these things where they're like, oh no, it's just, we all understood this just fine. And I'm like, okay, I didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah.
I don't know. I just need to at some point in time watch all these things.
You got this like huge flight coming up.
I do. We could definitely do that too. We got nothing else to do. Maybe sitting there with our feet hanging down. I'm actually kind of worried about that. Because I've been trying to get up now and move every hour or two. So I'm not just sitting forever because it's just not as good on my back anymore. And I'm doing stretches and things like that, which is great for, kind of cleaning up my pain and stuff like that and the stiffness in my back. But then it's, I'm going to be on this plane for freaking forever. I'm like,
yeah, that flight's real. And
it is. It's 12 hours. And then it's 3 hours on train.
Yeah.
So, like, everybody's like, hey, while you're there, just bring, like, these extra 12 suitcases while you're at it. And I'm like, okay, you guys are aware no one's picking us up, right? We're hopping a train, catching another train, going around Tokyo, catching another train, like, we're not going to be, there's no, this is not, so I'm carrying one suitcase.
Right.
I'm going to be there for 1 month.
Yep.
And it's because our buddy James has moved there. He got transferred there. And he got a 2-bedroom apartment specifically so that people could come visit him. That was the entire battle plan. So That was what it was all about. So that's going to be lots of fun. I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. So, but yeah, that is exactly what's going to happen. Is that
Cool.
be heading there and
Yep, I'm giving you money to get us swag.
Right? Because it's now I want to have because I am who I am. If they, for whatever bizarre reason, do not have, yeah, he is. He's also like a really good fellow. I mean, just in general, he is most certainly a solid buddy. But yeah, let's just say for whatever weird reason, they don't have any Ranma swag. How would you like me to handle that? Actually, it doesn't need to be answered right now. But
well, I'm just trying to think. Like, I don't know of any other swag that you'd be able to get a hold of because of turnover.
Right.
You know, I'd be like, I'd want Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core swag. Yeah, well, that game's fucking 13 years old or something. It's like, or the
yeah,
World
but I
Ninja
might
U
be at
swag.
random Denki stores, so you never know.
Yeah.
Like, you could always give me an auxiliary list and see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, not just so that you wouldn't be like,
I feel like I will too, but
like not
I
have to
know
like
that
go
if I
through
don't have a battle plan,
yeah, but just so you would have to go through like a giant like list of like stuff that that I would be interested in. Like, I don't know, like I guess if you can find like some Samurai Showdown stuff. Once again, I'm fucking old. My fandoms are old. Yagyu Jubei, Hattori Hanzo,
all the normals,
Shizumaru.
you got it.
Also, Rock Howard, who would probably actually see some swag because he's been in the King of Fighters games pretty consistently, and the new Wolves game, the new Fatal Fury game is coming out, and
All right.
it's because the last Fatal Fury game was like, golly, it was fucking forever ago. 20 plus years ago, and that was Mark of the Wolves, and the new game is coming out named The City of Wolves. Rock Howard,
Okay.
especially like if there's like an alt color with him in like white and like I know one of the alt colors in the game instead of is his jacket's white and purple. That's the one.
You got it.
But yeah,
I'll do that for you.
love Rock Howard. That guy's a badass.
Also, what we might do
yeah.
is before we go, before you give me the money, we're going to go over and do a translation to yen because right now it's 160 to the dollar. So that means that you could get $160 worth of 100 out of 100.
All right.
So, and according to all of my buddies, this is the best time to do it. Yen is weak against the dollar, and I'll just take it over because it's a cash-based society and yada yada yada. So,
all right, cool. I'm buying a new pair of dancing heels while we're doing this.
Dancing heels.
My other dancing heels, I just beat them up too much. I dance so hard. So
Yar, makes sense. Yeah, Joan. I mean, right now we're looking at a strong dollar. I don't know how long that'll last, but at least it'll last long enough for me to get over there. That'll be
in Japan.
useful. So, but yeah, so we'll get over there, and I'll translate my money over into. I'm actually going to translate my money over into yen here before I go. You know what I mean? So that I don't have to worry about it. So that's my battle plan. And then I'll have that all in. I'm going to probably get, they don't call them butt packs anymore because you wear them crossbody, but I'm going to get a crossbody bag. But they're butt packs. I mean,
I'm sorry.
they're just
I was doing the bandolier thing with those things back in like 1992.
I know, but it's
Everyone
still
looked at me weird.
doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. It's extremely useful.
Yeah.
And that way, I don't have to worry about losing passports or my international driver's license because James has a car and I'm totally going to steal that car because it is 660 cc's of mad fury of not a lot of speed, but very adorable. And I am so looking forward to it. He even said he went out and got it so that it's qualified for the freeways so that I can take it out on the freeways.
Cool.
So, but he's like, I got it up to, wait for it, 84 miles an hour. And I was like, it's so cute. But these little K cars, they don't go very fast. They're not designed to. They're not supposed to. Nothing wrong with that. I just like 84. Anyway, that'll actually be good because it'd be nice to drive up to Ibaraki instead of having to take the trains. Taking the trains is going to be like a 3-hour train ride to Ibaraki. Oh, yeah. I spent 3 years there and I had a car. So actually, I totally am already acclimated to it. I know all the Japanese traffic laws and everything like that. So it is not going to be a problem at all. I'm going to enjoy every minute of it, though. I'm definitely going to enjoy driving. I love driving, and I'm going to really enjoy driving again in Japan. That's going to be so nice. I just love driving in Japan. I love tootling around and doing all the things, and so it's just nice. It's a nice thing. So, and it's always one of those things. How do people always go, how do you remember which side of the car to be on? And I'm like, oh, it's actually a friend of mine.
Wheel?
Yeah. A friend of mine who lives in Canada, but is now, or used to live in Canada, but now lives in Japan, but is married to a Japanese woman and is now becoming a Japanese national. He always goes back and forth between Canada. And, you know, his statement was, you just need to remember that whatever side of the car you're on, you need to be next to the yellow line, the middle of the road. And as long as you keep that in mind, that you should never be on the side of the vehicle, which is on the side of the road, on the edge of the road, because as long as you keep that in mind, you will always be on the correct side of the road. And he's right. I've never had a problem driving between the two countries. My brain goes, this is weird. I shouldn't be close to the edge of the road. Oh, I'm on the wrong side, you know. So it is kind of nice. And that is kind of cool. And I guess that was intentional, looking back at some of the original laws that were made in the 1930s. The idea was that the driver would be the closest to the center line of the road to be able to make the best judgment on how far the vehicles are that are passing each other. So the concept was that way. So that's why they're flip-flopped that way. So I will also, in the great spirit of the future driving videos that I'm hoping that Troy and I are going to make someday, I will make a bunch of videos while I'm over there of, you know, driving tips while you're in Japan and, you know, things like that. And hopefully have some stuff to sprinkle into our ultimate podcast that we're going to make someday of how to drive, which is definitely something Troy and I want to do. We want to talk about, you know, best practices and stuff like that. And so that'll be a lot of fun. But I am most certainly looking forward to being over there. We've already gotten our tickets for the Ghibli Museum. So we will most certainly be going to the Ghibli Museum. And I'm trying to decide if I want to. There is a Ghibli watercolor set that you can get that's all Holbein paints. And it's all the colors that they use whenever they do Ghibli movies. because they do all of their markup artwork in watercolor. And so they've got a certain palette. And I have that palette and I've duplicated that palette, but it's not in Holbein's. And so it's not exactly the right colors, but it's like $100 to get that set. And so I'm trying to decide, is that what I want to buy when I'm there? Because I'm only going to be able to get one of those things. You know what I mean? Like there's only one. I'm not going to be able to come back with, $1,500 worth of stuff. It's not going to happen. So I've got to decide what's my shot? What am I going to do? It's either that or the VF4, which is the Yamato's releasing the VF4 transformable Valkyrie from Macross. And it's my favorite Valkyrie of them all. Of all of them from all the years of almost 40 years of Macross, that's my favorite one. And I'm like, do I want to spend my money on that one? I might want to spend my money on that. I've allotted myself one $100 thing. So we'll have to see what happens.
Right.
The good news is that really what I want to do is I want to go to Odaiba and take my picture with the Gundam that's there. There's another Gundam that's just sitting in the middle of a town somewhere. It's actually really funny because it's just sitting there staring down at like this house in the front and like somebody's house. They're just like living there under the gaze of a Gundam. And I'm like, there's just something wonderful about that because they're, of course, one-to-one scale Gundams. So they're freaking massive. You can see them from miles away. And I'm like, I got to go take my picture with these things. This is my kind of thing. I mean, I'm just like, yeah, got to take my picture with that.
Cool.
So that's the battle plan. We'll see how it goes. I have to make it out of school. Got to survive. 2 of my classes I don't have any problems with. I'm going to pass them just fine with A's. One of my classes I think is drifting into a B, and I'm annoyed. And then I will be darned lucky if I get my butt out of that Japanese class with a C. I'm just, ugh. I don't know if there's a Gundam cafe. I know that there's a number of other cafes, and I've kind of pinned a couple of them just because that's part of the experience of Japan is going to the weird cafes. And so, I'm not really that interested in the maid cafes because they creep me out because they're way too submissive, and that's just really freaky for me. I don't like it when people are that submissive. It's really uncomfortable. But there's like cat cafes and dog cafes and you know what I mean? Like all this stuff. And those seem like fun. Going to a cat cafe seems like a riot. So I'm going to go to one of those. That sounds like a lot of fun. So that's the battle plan. I'll bring back pictures. Likely I'll bring back video. I'll probably shoot video while I'm there. I'll probably do a bunch of things while I'm there. Hopefully, if I'm really on the ball, I might think up some of the ADD things I want to talk about and film them while there. You know what I mean? Because I've been doing some anti-ADD techniques and things like that, how to combat your ADD and get it under control because we don't have much of a choice. You just kind of have to make it work. 'Tis the nature of the beast. So, I don't know if there's a Gundam cafe though. But anyway, yeah, I'm really looking forward to driving James's car. It's very small. It's very adorable. I'm really looking forward to that. That's one of my top 10s right there. And the good news is I don't need to buy a whole lot. There's a beautiful little park and a temple really near his place. And I want to go see that. I don't have a lot of it needs to be spent money. Money needs to be spent. I just wanted to go during New Year's. I want to go to ring the bell because you can ring the bell in the cities at New Year's. And Moria is sort of our home city. And so I've been thinking about going up to Moria and ringing the bell in Moria.
With the big temple bell with the
Yeah.
log. Oh,
With
that's
a
cool
log.
as shit.
Sweet. Yeah. You
I want to
ring
do that and get into a sword fight. Let's do it.
Right? I mean, like, and you can get in line and then walk up there and then bing. Oh, yeah. Pokemon Go would be wild. I uninstalled Pokemon Go because it ate up too many resources. But I might reinstall it in the name of going to Japan and like getting the wild Pokemon that you can only get in Japan. That'd be so wild. But yeah, I mean, like, there's a little arcade down the street. But I don't know. Today we were in class doing all these things and going to all these little, shops and stuff like that in this Second Life Japanese thing. And it was like little, and of course it was all traditional Japanese food so that you can talk about it. And all I was doing was just sitting there with my stomach going, because I was like, oh, yakitori, oh, yakisoba, oh. Like all of those things were like, I'm looking forward to eating all of those things. That's really kind of the stuff I want to do, is go eat all the foods. Because you really can't get good. I mean, you can get good yakisoba here. You just can't get Japanese yakisoba here. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference in Japan. So looking forward to a lot of it.
Cool.
Yeah. And look, I've managed to waste a good 10 minutes talking about all the things I want to do in Japan. And did not get onto the rabbit hole that I fell down over the weekend about neurodivergent subtext in linguistic anthropology, which was what I was really afraid I would get onto this show. Because I'd be like, and that's how we lost all of our viewers.
Good job.
I'm like, well,
cool.
Troy comes back. What happened to all of our viewers? Guys started talking about anthropology. Oh,
right. No, I just time to wrap it up. But also, I asked Troy last week to change the description so that way when it pushes out notification that it'll be like, this is what we talked about. And he told me that y'all never do that.
Nope.
He had to figure out how to do it. I'm like, that's terrible. You guys should be doing that on the reg.
Oh yeah, we're gonna eat ramen and udon every day, and we will definitely tell you, Joan. I will give you all kinds of war stories. It'll be beautiful, with pictures, And actually, to your statement, Alex, that's true. There's a certain amount of, if we should do more routine maintenance on each one of these shows. But as you have noticed, 5 till 9, we go, oh crap, it's time for Geek Tank.
Right. I mean, since we don't have a script and we always go off talking points anyway, afterward to go, this is what we talked about, put it on there so that way it's also easier for people to search shit up, Yeah.
So. Yeah, we'd have to go back through and redo it.
Eventually, that would be a goal, but right now, just starting now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
the ideal time would have been 200 episodes ago. Well, barring that, now.
Right. Do you know we actually do have 200 episodes now?
Yeah.
We have more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we should be coming up on 500 episodes at this point, because every week for 10 years.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. Be about 500 episodes. Good heavens, we have 500 episodes of this show. More episodes than everything except for Doctor Who and Star Trek.
One Piece.
One Piece, Doctor Who and Star Trek, and that's it. They're crawling up on their thing now.
All right.
Let's head on out, guys. For those of you who are thinking of following me over onto my stream, I'm not actually going to broadcast tonight. Broadcasting troubles A, and B, I have 400 papers. Not really. I've got a lot of papers to write, and they're boring to watch me broadcast me writing papers. So I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to go on ahead, and I think that's about all we got. I don't think you have anything else you need to do, is it? No? Good. Joan, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate having you here with us. And the other people who were here and watching, glad you were here for us as well. But that's all the time we have for today. We'll see you next week. And until then, I've been Guy.
And I've been Alex.
And this is Geek Tank.